Alright guys, what is up? This is Christian here. I've been active on this channel in quite some time, but I thought I would upload a little bit of GTA gameplay, GTA 5 on PC, using the new Radeon ReLive drivers, the Radeon ReLive software. It was just released very recently, to kind of compete with NVIDIA Shadowplay. And I'm very impressed with how this has been working so far. Usually in the countryside here, I get like a drop down to like 55. It's like really heavily grassed areas, but I really haven't seen my FPS drop below. Oh, you could really use a ride.
Get in. So what happened to Mr. Sheriff here?
Oh, that. Yeah, don't worry about it. Hey, can you drop me in my clubhouse?
Anyway.
It's not far. East Vinewood near the racetrack.
The Radeon ReLive software competes with AMD or with NVIDIA Shadowplay. There's also a streaming functionality, lets you stream to Twitch. It doesn't have the same versatility or plugins or anything like that that OBS does, so I don't see a lot of people using it quite yet. But as far as like basic streaming, like you just want to stream yourself, you know, for your friends or just for fun, like you're not like a super professional guy, you don't have a lot of overlays or anything, you just want to stream yourself playing games and have people maybe kind of comment or whatever, super casual. This will work great for you. I'm seeing zero impact on frames. In addition to OBS with VCE support, or you know, a feature that this has that OBS with VCE support does not have, is the ability to save replays. So it basically keeps a buffer of the last, I'm not sure how long it is, 30 seconds or a minute, something like that. Just the last, you know, little while of gameplay. So if you do something that's really awesome, you can just hit a button and it will save the last, you know, however long to your video. You know, that's really useful, I imagine, for content creators who don't want to be recording the whole time to save, you know, hard drive space, but do want to be able to capture those moments something cool does happen, or just, you know, if you wanted to share something with your friends, you can have this on, forget about it, and then right when you see something cool, hit the button. It's just like a combination of keys, and it'll just save the clip. The implementation is very smooth. I think AMD's driver team has been on point recently. NVIDIA's drivers have been kind of disappointing. They've been kind of lackluster recently. Not to mention the fact you have to register to you know, do stuff with your drivers. Oh god. Yeah, you have to register to do stuff with your drivers with NVIDIA, and that's just not the case with AMD. You know, you can register, you just download them, and they work. So, you know, assuming, I mean, everybody kind of imagines AMD's on this track where they're going to release Zen, it's going to amazingly succeed. It's going to beat or match the IPC of current Intel Skylake desktop chips. It's going to have, you know, a full 8 cores for less than the price of Intel's full 8-core i7, which currently is like a few $100s, I think. And, you know, then they come out with Vega, and if Vega can compete with the 1080, the GTX 1080, AMD's going to be back in the high-end market, and their stock has been doing amazingly well recently. Everyone kind of is expecting a lot from AMD here, and this is just another, you know, step on the way to, you know, what everybody wants AMD to do, kind of like the revitalization of AMD, you know, going back to the good old days where it was all about raw power and, you know, AMD was a respected company. Nowadays, I've seen a lot of the general sentiment of just AMD is a bad company. I don't, you know, go with AMD anymore because of this or that. A lot of people just stick with Intel and NVIDIA because that's all they've ever known. You know, they don't really remember the days when AMD was actually considered to be, you know, matching or beat Intel. So yeah, the ReLive software update, I would say overall it's very polished, very refined. Radeon settings has been, you know, out for about a year now, and it works pretty well. I'm not gonna lie. Compared to the old Crimson, or not Crimson, the old AMD, you know, just software that was used before, it looked like it was something out of Windows XP. the actual interface itself and the drivers. Although, you know, but right before the Crimson software came out, even though the actual driver suite looked kind of outdated and old, the actual you know, functionality of the drivers was usually fine. I didn't really have a lot of instability with them. But I would just say recently, they've been very, very stable. I haven't had a driver crash in at least, you know, a few months now. And considering how many games my my little brother and I play on here, it's pretty impressive overall, I have to say. Oh, crap. I don't know what happened there. Yeah, to finish up, to summarize, you know, AMD is making a comeback. ReLive is just, you know, another feature that they've added that will hopefully, you know, help them along the way. Consumers do like to record themselves playing games, you know, at some point or another, and this will just make it a bit easier. And I definitely think it will persuade people that use NVIDIA cards, especially content creators, to use an AMD card, you know, if the price and performance matches up, and they can still keep their Shadowplay features, you know, once the software evolves and has a bit more options. I definitely think you're going to sway a large portion of the market that otherwise would not consider an AMD card. So yeah, you know, that's what I think.